Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Jim, I'll have to say this is a week of horror for guys like myself and investors in the market.
Yes, but of course, optimism, I know, reigns around American Manganese, and you put out a news release today. What was in it?
Oh, we've been requested to do more testing for one of the Tier 1 companies, and this is to do with the producing the sulfate rather than the hydroxides. So we'll be doing separate lines on that, and but it's it shows their interest, and that's about all I can say right now because I've been optimistic too many times in the past, and I know what we've got, and I know we're solid, and that's good enough for me.
Larry, I keep hearing from around the world, people are really concerned about what are they going to do with old lithium-ion batteries once electric cars become really popular. Does your company have the solution?
Well, we've got a closed-loop solution that is patented, Jim, and I'll go a little deeper on that. Certainly, I think we've got the best solution out there. We certainly tied up the best solution with our patents, and that's going to be, our strong point going ahead. So when the markets are bad like this and we get battered, I know that the company's got the fundamentals to make a comeback from that and to move on and hopefully to higher prices. So that said and done, there's a few things that are happening out there in the world that point that up. For example, there's a Korean company that was going to set up a recycling plant in New York at Endicott, and that was 2 years ago, and they got some grants and everything else, and now they're getting a lot of pushback from the stakeholders in the area. They want to know how this is going to affect the environment. Well, that's going to come up all over North America, and it'll certainly come up all over the world. We already seen how China has put some heavy restrictions on the amounts of cathode material that can be reclaimed from the spent batteries. So when you look at what's happening in Endicott, that's a symptom of what's going to happen everywhere. And we feel that's going to put us at a tremendous advantage. And that's because we do have this solution. We have a closed loop. We put nothing back into the environment. We can answer all the environmental questions when we go for our environmental permit. So, that puts us in front of a lot of companies that have partial solutions where they're going to have to deal with waste streams. And, we don't have to deal with that. So that's a big plus. And I think people will recognize that in the future because, as you know, the environmental aspects of everything are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, not weaker and weaker and weaker. So, we expect that will put us front and center in the crosshairs of some companies that want to do something about the environment or just want to get some recycling going. And that's great for us. Now, let's just talk about the market for a little bit. We're down 4,000 points, or are down 4,000 points today. In 5 days, we had 1 day when it went sideways. But most of the days it's down 1,000 points, down 1,000 this morning. And the venture exchange is back to its all-time lows in the last 10 years. And, it was beginning to take off. And the interesting thing is that last time I looked at gold, it was down $72, and that's a safe haven in these types of markets. And, that's what people, buy physical gold or gold projects and gold shares and to protect them in these kind of markets. But unfortunately, when these markets get pushed down as hard as they're being pushed down, and part of this, big part of this is artificial. And but they're being pushed down, and margin calls are coming in. So what do? You go to where you might have some liquidity, and certainly gold is liquid, whether it's in the physical form or it's in the form of a company's shares. So they get sold out. So you see that the second hit in the market is going to be the precious metal stocks, and we're seeing that now, and especially today. So we're back down in the 1500s. And it was headed for 1,700 a couple of days ago, and now it's back down there. But again, that's a part of the market. Now, I've attached an article that says Trump should reinstate the uptick rule, stop shorting on the exchange. And I agree with that article because China has stopped it, and, because these predator traders destroy markets. That's how they make money. And, unfortunately, Trump hasn't made any move in that regard, but that's really not up to him. It's, he can put pressure on the SEC to either, stop shorting on the exchange and maybe reinstate the rule. And I won't even bother mentioning Canada doing that because everybody just seems to be oblivious that this is the happy hunting grounds for predator traders because there's no short rule whatsoever, and they can just willy-nilly short stocks, and this certainly is a dream come true with this with the virus, the coronavirus. It's certainly given them an opportunity to exacerbate this plunge in the market. But like I was saying earlier, it's partially to do with the coronavirus. But when you add willy-nilly shorting in on top of that, then it gets four or five times worse than it would ordinarily have been on the drop in the market, because they can keep, the talking heads can keep pushing that out there. It seems like the free world is intent on destroying their economies. And, I know Trump's done a great job of increasing the economy of the U.S., but he's going to have to do something about this predator traders. And they're not all homegrown. They come from everywhere, from all over the place. They just come into the market and they short the stocks, and and away you go down the hill. So the people should take a look at this market. Is similar to 2008 when the U.S. got rid of the short rule in 2007. The markets almost created a worldwide financial disaster, and if they hadn't gotten that turned around, it would have happened. But the interesting thing about that plunge in the market, that what we call a crash, and it was a crash, was V-shaped. It went down over a period of a few months, heavily went down, and then when it went back up over a few months in a V shape. So I see this one as being very similar because it's artificial. It's artificial because it's the predator traders are making it look like everybody is running to the exits, but the truth is that they're taking advantage of a market that is falling. And so that's my look on the market. We should be, able to adjust to that. As time goes by, you'll start to see the market going up, and hopefully the U.S. will, impose at least a rule not that no shorting is allowed during this crisis, and because nobody can get back on their feet as long as you can just keep shorting the stocks. And unfortunately, in Canada, you don't have to own the stock. There's no law that says you have to borrow the stock. There's nothing out there. It's a Wild West up here. And I don't see the Canadians are intent on destroying the economies in Canada. And I don't see them doing anything to alleviate that. So we'll just go along based on our fundamentals of our company, which are stronger and stronger and stronger. and we'll survive this, Jim. It's a market that is affecting everybody. Battery production is down, so that leads to production of EV cars going down. That's a hit that you have to take, and that there's probably more to do with the EV, with the coronavirus. So I see an end to it all. I see a rapid recovery over a few months, and that is my take on the market.
Larry, where are you traded, and how can people get more information about American Manganese?
We're traded on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. We're traded on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol 2AM. You can get all the information you need about the company at our website, which is very informative and transparent, at AmericanManganeseInc.com. You can phone the office here at 778-574-4444. Want to send me an email at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on February 28th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.